What's up, guys? It's Nando back again with another video, and we've got my cat Mima Pooh with us to our left right here. Yep, that's her. And in front of us we have an extremely dark LG V20 and a not so dark OnePlus 3T. Now, this guy right here is really not, there's nothing wrong with the screen. It's just that I have one of those privacy screen protectors. It just came with it when I bought it. So from this angle you can't see it very well, but like see, like it's actually like working well. But nonetheless, I've got both of these guys here in front of me because what I want to do is a comparison real quick between these two phones, how they compare with one another, and also compare how my cat compares to both of these phones. No, but I'm kidding. The cat's not part of the video. So, right, we've got OnePlus 3T, we've got LG V20. So let's go ahead and talk about the LG V20 versus the OnePlus 3T first, and things that the LG V20 does better than the OnePlus 3T. Now, the LG V20 has a 5.7-inch screen. The OnePlus 3T has a 5.5-inch screen. The LG V20 is over $600 from your carrier, and the OnePlus 3T is $439, starting off with 64 gigs. The LG V20 also has 64 gigs, but the LG V20 has removable storage. The OnePlus 3T does not. So chalk up a win for the LG V20 in the storage department. So if you use your phone a lot or you do not trust cloud services, you can drop in a micro SD card and you're good to go. Also, in terms of things that are removable, the LG V20 has a removable back, and with that you have a removable battery. Now, you have a smaller battery than the OnePlus 3T, but it's removable nonetheless. So if you're the type of person that loves to be able to go 0 to 100 as fast as possible, there is no kind of faster charging than literally swapping out for a full charged battery. And you get that with the LG V20. Now, the LG V20 also has a secondary screen up above here that I have turned off because I don't care for it. And if you guys are wondering why I don't care for it, you can check out my previous video on my final review on this phone. But it does have a secondary screen, which, hey, some call it gimmick, some call it useful. It's there. The OnePlus 3T does not have any kind of gimmick like that. The LG V20 has a dual camera lens system. So what does that mean? It means that these two bad boys here, we have a wide angle lens and we have a normal lens. So one is 8 megapixel for the for the wide angle lens is 8 megapixel, and the main shooter is a 16 megapixel shooter. The front has an 8 megapixel wide angle shooter. So if you're comparing pictures with the OnePlus 3T, you're probably going to go with the LG V20 because LG V20 just allows you to do more. When you're comparing video, the LG V20 allows you to do more, allows you to have manual control. You can choose your focal points. You can choose which mic you're going to use, whether or not you're going to focus more on sounds coming from from in front of the camera or whatever it is that you're recording, or do you want to focus on sounds coming from your end or what you're narrating or talking about. That is something that the LG V20 allows you to do, while the OnePlus 3T does not. Okay, so chalk that up for the V20. Other than that, the V20 doesn't really got much more going for itself. It is, or it was, the first phone coming with Nougat, but the OnePlus 3T now also has Nougat. So you've got Nougat on both, and that's really not something that one or the other has as a pro, because if this phone right here didn't have it yet, then yeah, of course, the LG V20 would have that as a pro or a plus. Now let's put this aside and let's focus on the OnePlus 3T. and what this guy has going for it. The OnePlus 3T is as stock of a phone you can get other than Google Pixel. Okay, so the LG V20 has a LG skin over it. The OnePlus 3T has Oxygen skin over it, but Oxygen is basically stock Android, okay, in this case, Nougat Now, with some very useful tweaks that you can or cannot turn on or off. That's up to you. You can choose to use them or you can leave them as is, okay. OnePlus has done a wonderful job with their OS. The features there, for example, deciding whether or not you want to swap the buttons on the bottom, or whether or not you want to have long presses for your home and back, and what does that activate, or what does that do in terms of turning on an app, or choosing multi-screen, this or that, choosing what color you're going to make your LED light. Those are all things, and just some of the many things that Oxygen OS allows you to do on the OnePlus 3T. Second, the OnePlus 3T is a dash charging device, the only current dash charging device. And the reason why I want to emphasize dash charging is because dash charging allows you to go from, for example, 0 to, let's say, 30 or 40%, maybe 50% in 20 minutes. It's that fast. It's incredible. Every time my phone, or when I'm using the OnePlus 3T, it's starting to drain, I'm not concerned, I'm not stressed, I'm not worried. I plug it in, I'll let it roll for 5-10 minutes, and I don't even have to worry about it. Yes, I understand that the LG V20 allows you to remove or swap a battery, but you have to buy that battery in order to have that function. And the OnePlus 3T is non-removable, but one, it lasts much longer, and two, dash charging. So chalk up faster charging on the OnePlus 3T, and chalk up better battery life on the OnePlus 3T. In my previous videos, I have done battery reviews on both of these phones, and I've done extensive screenshots of how they're lasting. And the OnePlus 3T certainly gets you anywhere from 4 to 6 hours of screen on time, with easily anywhere from 18 to 20 plus hours on standby. The V20 does not allow you to do that. The OnePlus 3T has a bigger battery. It's a 3400 milliamp or a 3450 milliamp, while this guy over here has a 3200, I believe, milliamp hour battery. So bigger battery, faster charging, longer lasting. Smaller battery, slower charging, removable. You pick and choose what's more convenient for you. That's why we have options in the Android world. Now, another feature that the OnePlus 3T has over the LG V20 is that the OnePlus 3T is only $439. It's not even a feature, guys. Okay, I have to emphasize that as a feature because for $439, you are getting a phone that is as premium looking as most premium phones, okay? And it's only $439 for an unlocked phone. Now, I understand that the OnePlus 3T sometimes, or in most cases, isn't usable on like Verizon or Sprint, but most people around the world are using GSM anyways, and in the States, you can use it on AT&T or T-Mobile in terms of the big carriers. And for $439, you're getting an unlocked phone with, get this, one more feature, 6 gigs of RAM. That is such a big thing that the OnePlus 3T has going for it, because you don't see 6 gigs of RAM on any current flagship right now, and it's still not going to be a standard probably going forward for this upcoming year in 2017. 6 gigs of RAM allows me to absolutely just fly through my menus like it's nothing, okay? 6 gigs of RAM makes this phone feel fluid, makes this phone feel easy, and it never feels bogged down. This phone right here, the LG V20, has 4 gigs of RAM. And 4 gigs of RAM, you know, it doesn't, I wouldn't say it lags all the time, but it does, it just doesn't flow as fast as the OnePlus 3T, okay? And I can tell you from using this phone, and my girlfriend's probably already heard me complain about it, the LG V20, when those 4 gigs of RAM is getting maxed out, in most cases with any device that has its RAM getting maxed out, it just seems to bog down. And if it's not bogging down, it's thinking about it, because sometimes it takes that extra second or two to do things. That is totally a first world problem. 6 gigs of RAM is just us being spoiled. We don't need 6 gigs of RAM on a phone these days. In another year or two, probably. But 6 gigs of RAM, you're never going to have that issue with gaming, which is doing multitasking, split screening, what we can do now with Nougat. And that's something that the OnePlus 3T just brings to the table. And that with the combination of a very clean, very efficient, very light OS, it just makes using this a joy. And for me, personally, I prefer the OnePlus 3T over the LG V20. Now, I decide which phones I like based on really three things. One is battery life is my most important thing, because most phones, everything across the board is going to be comparable. Most phones, even iPhones with Android, they all do about the same thing. You're talking an iPhone, a Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, you're talking a V20, you're talking a Google Pixel, you're talking cameras that are great across the board. And then we're nitpicking, oh, what's better in low light? What's better in less noise? Those are little things that we have the luxury of picking on one phone versus the other. But overall, they're great across the board. So what then is the deciding factor in which one makes one better than the other? You got things like battery life, which one has better battery life, which one has faster battery life, which one has longer lasting battery life. We have things like price. Most of those phones are all about the same price across the board. Galaxies are about the same price as iPhones. Now Google Pixels are the same price as about an iPhone. And then you got this guy for $439. That's undercutting the market. So it's hard to go against saving $300+ and where you can get yourself another accessory, a smartwatch, a console, whatever you need to do with that extra money. You have that luxury. So first for me, battery life. Second for me is camera. When the cameras are both all great, then I move for something like, battery life and price. And then the screen size and just how good the screen is. The screen on the OnePlus 3T is fantastic. It's very bright. It's very easily readable outside in daylight. Now, don't be fooled by this guy right here because it just has a privacy screen protector over it. But it's also a very good panel. Okay, but I find that the OnePlus 3T has a better panel. When it comes to cameras, I already stated that the V20 just has the better camera. When it comes to sound, the V20 has better sound. The speaker doesn't get as tinny as the OnePlus 3T, and more importantly for all you audiophiles out there, the sound on the V20 when hooked up to headphones is fantastic. That's an option there that no other current smartphone or flagship offers. So V20 kills it with the sound when hooked up to a earbuds or headphones. When they're both coming from the speaker, it still barely beats out the OnePlus 3T. It just gets a little louder and it's less tinny. So V20 gets that too. So all in all, it comes down to, do you want a more multimedia powerhouse, or do you want a better just pick up and go, no frills experience when it comes to Android that gets things done? Because when you want something for creative purposes in terms of camera, in terms of video recording, in terms of music and enjoyment of content, you're probably going to enjoy it better on the V20. But at the same time, understand that battery life is going to be worse than the OnePlus 3T. If you're enjoying something that's just going to be simple, easy to use, it's going to take solid pictures, last a long time, then you're going to go with the OnePlus 3T. And more importantly, if you're looking to save money, you're going to go with the OnePlus 3T. So guys, it was Nando. That was a quick, and I feel like pros and cons, or what I like and dislike about both these phones in comparisons to one another. LG V20, OnePlus 3T. If you guys have any comments, any questions, let me know. Let me know which one of these two you prefer. Have you used either one of these? Are you deciding between these two? I personally, like I stated, enjoy the OnePlus 3T, but I can still recommend the V20, and I have enjoyed my time with it. I just choose this guy over from the things I've mentioned. So I will probably be replacing this, hopefully in the near future, with like a Google Pixel and try to experience that. But let me know what it is that you're currently using, and if you're deciding whether or not to get one of these phones, whether or not you're part of the two-phone squad gang, and let's get that going. Guys, it was Nando doing that video for you guys one more time. I'm out. Peace.